at about 7:01 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good afternoon, everyone. A couple ground rules. Note the fire exits. The emergency walk. Do not run. Do not use the elevators. Restrooms are to my right in the hallway. The agenda is on the table at the entrance. We will follow it in that order. The town board welcomes public input at every meeting. Step up to the lectern. State your name and address. Meetings are recorded, so it's important to speak into the mic. Each speaker has 3 minutes. Madam Clerk will keep the time. Personal attacks are not allowed. Address all questions and comments to the board chairman. All speakers must be respectful of in their time to speak. Public input period is not a discussion. And then we also have several presentations. The presentations serve two purposes: to inform the board, to inform the public, or to answer a question that the board has. And that time is limited, is not limited, is just limited to the presentation and the questions that may be asked. Madam Clerk, please read the roll.
Supervisor Evans.
Here.
Councilwoman Cunningham.
Here.
Councilman Malone.
Present.
Councilman Perticone.
Here.
Deputy Supervisor Weiner.
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
In the this week, we celebrate Juneteenth. As a reminder, Juneteenth was the day that the slaves in Galveston, Texas, were notified by the Union soldiers that they were free, quite a while after the ending of the Civil War. And with that, the last meeting, I just want to make a point of clarity and present some records for the document. The first record I'll submit is a Juneteenth planning and operations matrix dated 1/7/2025. A Juneteenth management discussion dated 1/14/2025. This is because the complaints that I received from the town staff, and after observing what has been done, this was to avoid the problem that the town had with an organization called iCare. So we created a management document to discuss how we would move forward in a legal manner to avoid the problems that we have with iCare. The Memorandum of Understanding with the Erase Annual Juneteenth, an excerpt from Article 36 filing, and finally an MOU of understanding that was prepared to be signed, and also an email trail between the town attorney and the rec staff.
Are you sure you want to include an email with counsel? I don't know if it includes attorney-client communication.
You can look at it and determine. I'm willing to you on that.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything that was. But you can review it afterwards and. Get back on track. We have several presentations tonight, and we will start. I'm sorry. I just got out of sync. Excuse me. Madam Clerk, did you read the roll? We have 7 presentations tonight, and we're going to start with the Monroe County Aging Alliance. Please.
Thank you and good evening. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm Melissa Wendland. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives at Common Ground Health, and I am a member of the Monroe County Aging Alliance. I'd like to acknowledge Councilwoman Cunningham for inviting me to this meeting and for sharing some information in advance about Monroe County Aging Alliance. The Aging Alliance is a partnership between the City of Rochester, Monroe County, Rochester Area Community Foundation, and United Way. It started back in 2012. It is a group of over 25 partners from academia, from government, healthcare, and business to support our communities in creating an age-friendly, livable community. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what an age-friendly, livable community is, what our journey has been, and how I would like to offer an opportunity for consideration to partner with you starting tonight through the end of December. So a livable community is a community that is safe and secure for all. It is something that allows anyone, regardless of a physical, mental, emotional well-being, and it's something that supports everyone in a place where they know that they can belong. An age-friendly community is a community that's livable for people of all ages. So an age-friendly, livable community encompasses from the time at birth until we take our last breath. Now, an example that I want to show you here on the screen is, this is in Charlotte on the beach, and you'll notice that there's a blue mat. And the blue mat offers a mother the ability to push a stroller on the beach. And it also offers someone who's unable to walk and relies on a wheelchair to also access the beach. This is someone that actually lives in Monroe County. Without this mat, neither of them would be able to do this. And so again, it's age-friendly and livable for all. There are a lot of things that we talk about and consider when we think about a livable community. Our ability to safely cross the street, the way it's marked, demarcated, lit, demonstrated with paint. Neighborhoods where people can walk and play safely. Public places, green spaces. The ability for people to get the services they need. I noticed as I was driving in, the farmers market was noted on the driveway. That's an opportunity for everyone to access fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables. That's not necessarily available in all communities. I commend you for making that available. It's also about transportation. How can we get along without a car? The majority of the streets are made for cars. We'd like to talk about how we can have that mobility in a variety of ways, such as a wheelchair, a stroller, a walker, a bike, or simply walking. These are elements of a livable community. What's important to understand is our demographic population is aging. And you'll see here on the map, this is happening across the country. More specifically, in our community and in our county, we are the second highest aging county in New York State. And you'll notice on the slide what's starting to happen is we're seeing an exponential increase in those over 60, and it's crossing paths with the younger generation. So what that means is you can plan on in the next 10 to 15 years, the majority of the population will be over 60. Right now in Monroe County, it's about 27%. That's going to be upwards in the 30s in the next 10 to 15 years. So in Irondequoit, I'm going to show you a couple of key stats specific to your municipality. But what I think is really important to understand is the majority of those over the age of 50 and 60 are the folks that are your tax base. These are the people that vote. These are the people that have institutional knowledge and understanding from history. And these are the people that are the majority of folks that volunteer. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is in the Aging Alliance, And sitting with you, we have a content subject matter expert, again, Council Member Cunningham. We participated in reframing aging. How we frame the script makes a difference on how inclusive our community is. We know that for those that are older, if we were to ask an initial question of the community about how they think about older adults, it's typically not positive. Often it's that they are slow, that they are cranky, that they are not contributors to the community, then they take more than they give. When in fact, that's exactly the opposite we know when we actually look at the contribution of older adults. We have incredible experience and a wealth of knowledge in Monroe County with our community members that are 50 and over. They are continuing to work longer, mentor, and we're seeing a lot with intergenerational families, specifically older adults that are taking care of young children while the sandwich generation can work. There are many things that municipalities can focus on when they look at age-friendly, livable communities. Before you, I have a couple of examples by the percentage as designated by AARP that talks about some of the key areas that communities like to focus on. An age-friendly, livable community was designated by AARP, and I'm going to go over that in a minute. But what's really important is to understand that this is not a county effort, this is not a state effort, it's not a country effort, it is international. And just in our country alone, we have over 900 designated age-friendly, livable communities. What's interesting is in any town or municipality's comprehensive plan, in Monroe County, we don't have age-friendly, livable community designation as part of a comprehensive plan. So we're asking folks to think about what are your plans and how could we include making this age-friendly and livable. It could be looking at your public spaces, your transportation, your housing efforts. It could be as simple as volunteering and looking at who's on your town board. What is the makeup, and is there an opportunity to get the perspective of older adults in your community that are part of your community? So kudos to Irondequoit. If you look at the AARP Livability Index, you will see that you have scored a 59. And that is consistent with Rochester, New York. If you were to go to the Livability Index, what you would see is a breakdown of what they look at to make it livable by community members. It looks at housing, it looks at transportation. Now this is an out of 100, so I'm not asking you to think that 59 is only halfway there. An age-friendly, livable community is a journey. It's an ongoing effort. But I would say that you are exceeding what is the average. And to you, I would like to say thank you, and I'd like to see if we could continue this good work. So, here's the history. The World Health Organization started age-friendly, livable communities 15 years ago. This is not new. AARP started it 13 years ago. New York State was designated as the first age-friendly community from AARP almost 10 years ago. And then in 2018, Governor Cuomo signed an executive order. And that executive order was to implement health across all policies. What that means is when we look at our policies in our county, we want to look at the health and well-being for all. And that includes older adults. It was an opportunity to say, what could we do to continue to support people as they age? In 2019, Rochester and Monroe County were accepted into the AARP Livable Community designation. And then in 2022, Governor Hochul signed the Master Plan for Aging. This is a statewide plan, a framework expected at the end of this month to demonstrate to communities how they can support older adults, because we are an aging state and we are an aging nation. Again, Health Across All Policies provides an opportunity for us to look within our municipalities to say, what policies do we have that are livable and age-friendly? What opportunities do we have to think about as we're looking at our municipality plan and potentially updating it? So the Monroe County Aging Alliance has been on a journey, and it was 5 years in the making to become designated as age-friendly by AARP. I'm happy to say that last week we conducted a webinar for over 800 people across the country talking about ageism, creating an awareness on how we frame our messages and how we speak to our older adults. In the Native community, elders are of high regard. We'd like to see that in our communities as well. So once we became age-friendly designated, we then applied to the county to say, we want to go more specifically from the county focus to the municipality focus. And Age Friendly 2.0 was born, and it started now. So what this is an opportunity for Aging Alliance members, all of us, to speak with town boards about our journey and to talk about how we'd like to partner with you with your municipality planning. Specifically, there's 3 things that we are aiming to do by December. Have this introduction and conversation. There is also a questionnaire that is available online with a QR code or in paper in Spanish or English for anyone 50 and older to fill out. This is a questionnaire that allows us to understand people's preferences, and we are running this until the first week in July. We will spend the summer collating this information, and then we will come back to you and share with you what we've learned from residents throughout the county. Additionally, we'd like to conduct focus groups with each municipality, places where older adults come together, having a conversation with us to say, this is what we heard on the survey. What did we miss? Is there anything else that's more important to you? What would you like to see in partnership with your municipality to provide feedback to you so that fundamentally we have an opportunity to leverage what you're doing well and celebrate the existing age-friendly livable community tenants that you've already got underway, and talk about additional 2 to 3 priorities you're willing to commit to for next year to make those commitments by December of 2025. The last thing I want to say before we wrap this up is this is, again, not in isolation of what the county and the cities are doing. So municipalities are lining efforts that have already begun in the city of Rochester and in the county of Monroe. The comprehensive plan is something that I spoke publicly at 2 weeks ago, specifically around housing to support older adults. I want to be very clear when we talk about supporting housing, we are looking at families of all ages, intergenerational housing, mixed housing, and again, how wonderful it is to see where Episcopal Senior Life is just blocks away from here for supporting older adult living. Again, we want to make sure that this is something that is equitable for all. We want to address any inequities that we're seeing, and I will say that older adults also experience those inequities when in fact they are not considered as part of a comprehensive plan. Transportation, super excited to see what's happening in Irondequoit. I will share that we have another partner who has just joined the Aging Alliance, Reconnect Rochester. Cody Donahue has been a fabulous partner in helping us with creating a walkable, livable community and looking at active transportation plans. So, I hope we have the opportunity to hear from a large group of people 50 and older in Arundecoit. I want to thank Council Member Cunningham for supporting our message, getting out our public message to please fill out this questionnaire. It is anonymous. There is no way that we can connect the person who filled out the information to the actual person where they live. It is strictly noted by zip code. Again, they can fill it out by paper, use a QR code. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on the computer. You can do it in Spanish. And if there's another way you need to do it, we'll make that happen. It's only running for the next 3 weeks, so the sample side is really imperative at this point to get this message out, and I think you're doing a great job. We have a variety of resources happy to share with you. You should have this presentation. There's additional resources. Just last week, we conducted a 4.5-hour land bank training at Monroe Community College for all municipalities, for people that were parts of zoning, planning, parks and recreation, and supervisors alike. We had over 85 people. We've had a fabulous response. People are very interested in aligning what they already have in their municipal plans to enhance that with additional opportunities. And with that, I want to say thank you and ask if there's any questions.
Thank you very much, and thanks, Councilwoman Cunningham, for your great work. I know that you do it in your full time, but your passion for this is really commendable.
Thank you. I appreciate that. This is something that I have been very passionate about. I live in the older adult sphere. I work in the older adult sphere. I am an older adult, and we are all aging. That's one thing that we make sure that we say. We are doing wonderful things in Arundecoit. And I think it's time that we name it and that we share those wonderful things out. We have the second highest percentage of older adults over the age of 60 in Monroe County. So there are lots of opportunities for us, and it is an opportunity for us to live and grow together. And so we have been sharing out the survey, so I hope that our community members will take that survey. It is on our social media spots. We are going to have that available at our community center as well. I'm going to speak with the Lunch Bunch next week, next Friday, to make sure that they all fill that out. And then I'm really excited for us to hopefully pass a resolution to say that we are an age-friendly town and get rolling. And we're not doing this in silo, we're doing this in cooperation with the Aging Alliance. So I appreciate you spearheading this and being here with us.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
No, but thank you for all you're doing.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Both of you.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. And next we'll hear from the Preservation Board. Good afternoon, how are you doing?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me a little bit of time with you all. I'm Christopher Brandt, the chair of the Historic Preservation Commission. Before I start, I do have some handouts, but they're just photos, no reading. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay. So, as a little refresher, the Historic Preservation Commission here in the town of Arundecoit was founded in 2001. with the main tenet to preserve and protect local historic sites and buildings and to foster civic pride in and awareness of the history of our town. One of our primary tasks and charge as a commission is to designate landmarks within the town. A landmark, as defined by our code, is a property or object designated by the Historic Preservation Commission as significant due to its historic and or architectural significance in Irondequoit or beyond. When that property has been designated as a historic landmark, the town of Irondequoit officially recognizes the property to have special historic and architectural value, and that is important to the town's heritage and culture. Landmark designation does not prevent an owner from making changes to their property, but instead involves the historic preservation to ensure that these buildings are preserved and that their historic character remains as the property continues in productive use. Early on in the Commission's history, we were able to have some limited funding that provided the opportunity to purchase plaques as a way to commemorate and congratulate landmark property owners for this designation and accomplishment. It's been many years since we've had the funds to be able to do this, and we certainly thank the town in providing a budget for the commission to reenact this work of the commission this year. And so I'll be here, I'm here tonight, and I'll be here at the next following a couple meetings to present the plaques that we were able to purchase this year. So tonight I want to talk to you a little bit about two properties that are cared for by the Irondequoit Historical Society, but are owned by the town of Irondequoit. So first, and here with me tonight is our Vice Chair, Mark Johns, Town Historian, Tim Judd, and then I'm going to invite the President of the Irondequoit Historical Society, Ellen Flesch, to come up after I'm done with a few brief remarks. So first, and you've probably seen your handouts there with the photographs, we're talking about the two buildings, the Pioneer House, the Cobblestone Blacksmith Shop, that are both present now on town campus. So the Pioneer House was originally located on the south side of East Ridge Road, just slightly east of the present-day intersection of Walser Road. The Pioneer House was built around 1835, predating the founding of our town by 4 years. It served as a home to several early citizens of our town, including blacksmiths who worked next door at the Cobblestone Blacksmith Shop. It is likely the oldest surviving residence in our town and retains much of its original character and materials, including its heavy timber structure, windows, and the nogging, which is sort of brick and infill in between the studs of the walls, which you can see if you visit the house today. The house was expanded to its present form and its distinctive salt box shape around 1900, and underwent its first move in 1957 to a site further west on East Ridge Road near North Goodman Street. In 1974, the house was saved by Dorothy Fillard and moved a second time to her property on Portland Avenue, where it operated as the Strawberry Saltbox Gift Shop, which many folks here in the town may fondly remember. And it operated as that for 2 decades. In 1995, the Irondequoit Historical Society and the town of Irondequoit collaborated under the leadership of our former town historian, Patricia Wayne, to relocate the house to Town Hall campus, where it has been operated as a historic house museum since. The Pioneer House was then designated as a landmark by the Historic Preservation Commission in September of 2005, in recognition of its historic value and aesthetic interests as part of the cultural and social history of the town and its embodiment of early vernacular Greek Revival style and post and beam construction. The Cobblestone Blacksmith Shop, just next door, both presently and historically, was built in 1830 by early denizen Ransford Perrin as a blacksmith shop. It is the oldest documented building still standing in our town. It was used as a blacksmith shop well into the 20th century, transitioning from repairs on wagons and forging horseshoes to making repairs on early automobiles before World War II. It stood at its original site near the southwest corner of East Ridge and Culver Road until 2008, when the Irondequoit Historical Society and the town of Irondequoit again collaborated under the leadership of former town historian Patricia Wayne to relocate the building to Town Hall campus, reuniting it with its former original neighbor, the Pioneer House, but facing south instead of north as they were originally. The Cobblestone Blacksmith Shop was designated as a landmark by the Historic Preservation Commission in February 2003, before the building was moved, in recognition of its special character as one of only 4 cobblestone structures still standing in our town, and it's the only commercial one, and its historic and aesthetic interest as part of the cultural, political, and economic history of the town and region, as well as for its embodiment of the distinguishing characteristics of our regionally unique tradition of cobblestone masonry construction. So I'd like to invite Ellen Flesh up. We have our two wonderful plaques for installation on the two buildings here on Town Hall campus.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. Hello, I'm Ellen Flesh, president of the Irondequoit Historical Society. And on behalf of the Historical Society, I would like to thank the Preservation and Commission and the Town Board for presenting us with these plaques. I may be a little redundant here from what Chris said, but I had planned this out myself too. So our little pioneer house and blacksmith shop have had quite a journey these past 200 years. As you know, as you might know, the house and shop started out life together at Culver Road and Ridge Road. The area was known then as Swain's Corners. They became separated when the house was moved to Ridge Road and Goodman, then to Portland Avenue, where it was known as the Strawberry Saltbox Gift Shop. Dorothy Villard, who owned the gift shop, had the vision to donate the house to the town of Irondequoit, where it was moved and is living today. About 10 years ago, the blacksmith shop was brought to the site, so they are together again. It is our honor and duty to preserve these buildings, our first buildings of Irondequoit. The mission of the Irondequoit Historical Society is to assist in taking care of them, as well as bring the history of our town to the residents of Irondequoit through tours at the house and blacksmith shop and changing exhibits. Once again, thank you very much for this plaque and award.
Thank you. I want to commend you for all the work that you both have done for our town. I think is amazing. Personal historian, and this is a little off topic, but we're preserving our great history, and we have a tremendous amount of history here in Irondequoit. As we move into the budget season, I would like you three to put your minds together to tell us what we need to preserve our history. So I think it's been something that's been overlooked for the upcoming budget. We made some strides last year. Let's further step into a commitment to preserve our history, because that's important. It's important to preserve who you are, good, bad, and ugly, so that we can learn and grow from there. So I would appreciate if you do that for us.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, and thank you all town council for your time.
And next, Bonadio.
Oh, that's gnarly. It's an escape. Let's scroll back up here. Significantly better.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Spencer Iodice. I am the audit manager on the town's audit. I'm just going to briefly go through the audit results. I handed you all packets there, so if you want to look at that clear one on top is the presentation. So this first slide is just the auditor's responsibility. And this is just to remind you that our job is to form an opinion on the financial statements. And we consider internal control, but we don't express an opinion on it. We also communicate significant matters related to the financial statement audit to the town board. And as a result of our audit, we have an unmodified opinion, which is the highest form of assurance we can give. Just a brief overview of the governmental activities. There's a positive net position of 6 million, so that's a good sign. And looking at the percentages of revenues, about 60% of the revenues are the general revenues, including your mortgage tax, non-property tax, and real property tax. The other 40% is program-specific revenues. That would be your charges for services and capital grants and fines and fees. On the next page, you have the governmental funds. So as you can see, this amount here is a negative 7.8 million. And this is negative because of the capital projects fund using short-term financing. So once the long-term financing is in place, that negative should go away. But this is all normal operations. Just a brief look at the last 3 years of the governmental funds. I just want to point out, you can see that the cash related to total assets and the unearned revenues related to the total liabilities have decreased over the last 3 years, and that's related to the ARPA. The cash came in and was a liability, and as it was used and spent, the cash was reduced and the liability was also reduced. And on the next page, the revenues and expenditures. Also with the ARPA, you can see that government aid and the related expenditures for ARPA, were compared to each other. So as the expenditures happened, the revenue was earned. And then also just to point out, the transportation increased this year due to additional road projects, but you can see that the government aid also increased as a result of that. And here's a nice chart just kind of showing the general fund revenues, budget versus actual. And as you can see, the actual came in at higher than budget, which is a good sign. You're exceeding expectations on the revenue side. The next chart here, the expenditures, the actual came under budget the last 2 years. So that's also a good sign, spending less than anticipated. And last chart here, we just have the general fund, just comparing the revenues and expenditures as well as the fund balance. And you can see that the revenues and expenditures are pretty much equal throughout the last 3 years with a consistent fund balance there. So from last year, revenues increased about 15%, expenditures increased about 12%, and the general fund unassigned fund balance has a positive balance of 7.4 million. Just to touch on the highway fund, another one of the major funds, the fund balance is 1.6 million approximately, and that was an increase from last year by about 16%. Referring to the ARPA I spoke about earlier, the American Rescue Plan, the allocation at the start was 22.5 million, and now it's at 4 million. That's unspent, but it is obligated as required. So that's for the many projects that were done in the town over the last few years. And just to talk about the upcoming GASBs, so next year this will be potentially applicable to the town, Statement 102. And this is more of a financial statement disclosure for, situations such as a large employer leaving the town or something of that nature. We would just disclose that in a different nature than before. GASB 103, this is effective in 2 years. And this is related to more financial statement related MD&A, improving the management discussion and analysis. So there'll be a few tweaks there. And then also in 2 years, we'll have disclosure of certain capital assets. So depending on the capital assets the town has, this may or may not impact the town as a footnote disclosure. But these aren't major GASBs coming up, which is a good sign. Not as like GASB, the last few GASBs were more involved. So that is all I have for the presentation, just a quick overview. Is there any questions?
I want to say thank you for all the hard work. You guys have been great to partner with in keeping things straight and answering questions and making sure that we stay focused on the business of doing the people's business.
Yes, thank you for your work, but I also want to thank our comptroller and her department for this great audit and the hard work that you put in. So thank you. Thank you very much, from budgeting to making sure that we're staying on track, and transparent too. So thank you.
Appreciate it, thanks.
We now move on to public input period.
Sign these resolutions, proclamations.
Nick? I'm not gonna try your last name.
Smith is okay. It'll make it easier. Good evening, folks, ladies, gentlemen of the board. Thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time.
Can you give your name and address?
Nick Bitchko, 22 Kingsgate North, resident, almost 25 years on the street. Brought up to our attention, a gentleman on the street is handing out little cards. At first, it was supposed to be just a 4th of July holiday celebration, which is now, I think, turned into an event status, which we had no clue about until we inquired about it. He's talking Porta Johns, and I mean, our street alone is half closed off because of people going to the fireworks and everything. So that's another concern. If he opens it as an event, I heard it's going to be allowed to anybody that wants to come to it. Now, in the last 4 years, he's had some 4th of July parties that have gone on to almost 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's gotten out of hand. I mean, we got families on the street and stuff, and I know you guys are aware of allegedly some of the raids he's had on his home. He actually had a drive-by shooting at his house, and we were all witness to it because we all heard it. I don't care if he has a party. Look somewhere else. I mean, find a parking lot that would rent him a spot, Target, Christ the King, whatever. You know what I mean? Where he can have whatever he wants. But on the street, the last 4 years, I've spent the next 2 days after the 4th of July cleaning my neighbors' roofs from fireworks, all the droppings and everything in the street. Nothing's cleaned up by them. And last year they had like 8 folding tables full of booze and lights and noise, and they were filming a video, I guess, last year in the garage with bikinis and everything. They said it was a video for a music thing. So anyways, that's here nor there. But as you know, I got a petition from the street, a couple streets behind. The only 2 people on my street that didn't sign were actual neighbors, and they're nervous over repercussions. I don't think he'll see the list. I'm not sure how that works. Like I said, it's my first time here, but there's a lot of people in the neighborhood that are worried about it, that it's going to get out of hand. Between the 4th of July in the town, and we love the 4th of July here. We don't mind people parking on the street because they all come in. Everything's in and out one way, which is all designated and perfect, but to have this go on, and we're just more afraid of the outsiders that are going to come in, you know, what can end up in a stabbing, a shooting possibly, or something on our street. We just don't want it. So the one of the questions that was brought up by one neighbor was just the concern about the parking. You know, if he starts at 10 in the morning from rumors on the street that he was telling some of the neighbors, I mean, he's going to use all the parking that the town would normally use on half of the street for walking down to see the fireworks and that. And the fireworks being that close to a lot of people's homes. I have dogs, a couple other people have dogs, and they are a mess that night, a mess. And the town ones don't bother us. We keep them in the basement or something and they're fine, but man, being 3 houses away and he throws some big ones and it just, dogs are a mess for days afterwards, so. But other than that, I just wanted to make sure I came voice my opinion. And if nobody does, nobody's gonna listen, so. I know there's signatures, but I just thought you guys should know that I'm more worried about what it's gonna end up being than, you wanna have it somewhere else. I'm more than happy to do it. But it's just not the setting for a street, considering the way we got a 3x5 card first time, and now it's up to an event and that, so,
Thank you very much, sir.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, folks,
Yes.
appreciate it.
Michael?
My name is Michael Kretovic from 180 Rock Beach Road, here to talk against Airbnbs. I've been here a number of times, so you may recognize me. Last meeting, an Airbnb owner from the 400 block of Rock Beach Road made the statement that nobody's ever complained about her property, and I had no reason to doubt that at that point. Later in the meeting, another resident of the 400 block of Rock Beach Road complained about the Airbnbs. I don't know if she was specifically talking about that property or not, but it certainly is suspect when both live on the same block of Rock Beach Road. So I think that their claims that nobody's ever complained are not easily proven. Another thing that came up a couple meetings ago was a petition that was signed by a couple thousand people that supported Airbnbs. I was surprised that they could get that many signatures in Irondequoit. And when traveling to a nearby town, I found posted on a telephone pole an online sign up, support your ability to have an Airbnb, and they specifically mentioned Irondequoit. You could scan the QR and sign the petition without ever seeing it. I don't think that's a proper way to do it, and it doesn't really represent what the people of Irondequoit want. Last meeting I made a point that the people who want Airbnbs are the owners. They're the only people who profit, who want the Airbnbs. My statement was that for every Airbnb owner, there's neighbors, anywhere from 6 to 10 to 12 properties that are affected by these Airbnbs. I went door to door in my neighborhood on Rock Beach Road with a petition that had 2 choices. I don't want to live next door to an Airbnb, or I'm fine living next door to an Airbnb. The owners of the Airbnb across the street from me I could not present it to them because they live in New Jersey and I've only seen them when they bought the house. The rest of the people, 1 or 2 families did not sign. They didn't sign for or against, they just said they didn't want to sign. The others, 30 signatures, all were against Airbnbs. The number of people that don't want it far outnumbers the people who do want it. That's all I got.
Thank you very much. Is it Ben Mack?
Yep, close enough. It's a long name, it's an Irish name, so I don't even want to know. How are you doing, lads?
How are you?
Okay, I just want to reiterate.
Sir, can
what
you
the
give me your name and address,
Oh,
please?
absolutely. My name is Ben Muckantilla, 4879 Culver Road, Rochester 14622, over here. About 6 houses from Marge's Bar, down on the beach, right? And I just want to also speak against the Airbnb because they're driving us crazy. Basically, if somebody wants to rent their house, that's a great idea. Rent your house and, a family can move in and they'll be happy. That's wonderful. I think we all agree with that. But when you're renting your house a day at a time, one day, the next day, the next day, and there's dogs, and they're having parties there, and they're having their graduation parties. And where we live on Marges, if you know the beach there, right, there are no fences. So people come out at night, the Airbnb people that come out, they light fires, and, you know, when they run out of wood because it's not provided, they come and they take ours. They have huge parties, they're out till 4 o'clock in the morning, they're screaming, they're yelling, and we're trying to sleep. And we really hate it. So I understand if somebody wants to rent a house for a month, fine. Want to rent your house for, 2 months to somebody, to family, to a friend. But day after day after day, every day in the summer, and drive the rest of us crazy, no thanks, okay? Thanks for listening.
Thanks very much.
And thanks for all you do. I've been living here for 25 years, and I really like it, okay?
Thank you. Christina Smith.
Hello, Christina Smithdell, 31 Schnackle Drive. I just wanted to say thank you for all you're doing to find a compromise and solution to allow responsible short-term rental ownership. I believe all rental owners should be permitted, meet standards to promote safety and neighborhood character and compliance. I wanted to mention a few things that are very important to me as the regulations are created. The 2-night minimum. This leads to higher efficiency and better quality guests. Most guests are looking for a 2 to 4 night stay. A higher minimum would significantly narrow the guest pool and lead to lower overall income and occupancy. Many people only travel for a weekend or a long weekend to come visit their families. So having the 2 nights is very important. Also for me, not having a residency or occupancy requirement. I believe something like that would be super unfair to hardworking local hosts. I live only 18 minutes from my short-term rental, close enough to be present and proactive and take care of any issues that may potentially arise. And also, I'd like something in there, hopefully dealing with clear reporting mechanisms for any violations from the community. My husband and I have been kind of at the front lines of this from the start. Each meeting, it's really hard to hear some of the false information and things people are saying that aren't necessarily true. Over the last 2 years, we've gotten a lot of harassment from our neighbors. This stems from the fact that I have a 20-foot unrestricted access easement to reach my driveway, not the short-term rentals. We haven't had any other problems with any neighbors, not one complaint from anyone in the area or Airbnb. From December to May of last year, we had the same tenant in there, one woman, and still the complaints were there, from the speed over the easement to using the wrong salt to then not salting to actually when I would go over and shovel for hours, one day he came back over and blew all the snow back over the easement. So my guest, who was there for, like I said, 6 months, had to walk all the way from the road to go there. Their false reporting is in direct efforts to try to get me shut down. This is why instead of calling me or trying to work it out, they call Airbnb or the police every single time. And that's why it's very important to me to ensure there are thoughtful regulations on how complaints will be taken and reported seriously. Just wanted to share with you a few of the complaints that formally came in from Airbnb. Young guests running around the neighborhood. There was a family of 5 people, 3 of them were kids. They were playing in the neighborhood. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. And Richard?
Good evening, Rich Christner, 492 Gardem. I want to talk to you about my opposition to the 5G towers. I know that's not in this board's realm right now. It has been kicked back to the planning board, right? But I just want to let you all know that I don't think it's a good idea at all. I don't think it's fair to any of the town residents that a cell company could encroach on their property and put a tower there. With the town right of way, I don't think anyone would ever imagine something like that would happening. Maybe widening the street, taking care of the sidewalks and things like that, but not erecting new poles in their yards. I don't believe it goes along with the character of the town either. Because once these permits go in, I believe it's going to be a cascading effect. There's going to be more and more and more, and the town will lose its character. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm just trying to keep it in the forefront. You know, I understand it's not tonight's meeting, but we're still out there and we're still opposed to it, all right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address the town board on any topic?
Marcia Enright, 75 Clay Avenue. I was wondering if the board had considered the loss, or do you realize the state tax funding that goes to our two school districts where there are no children living in these homes? A third of their budget comes from state aid, 1/3 of their total budget. Have you talked with your two school superintendents as to how they feel about short-term rentals? Many current codes exist that may have to be changed to even allow them, such as the utilities have to be in the name of someone other than the owner. To change that code, I do believe it has to be passed by this board prior to changing the code. How long will that take? I'm sure there's several other codes other than this. The other thing that has been mentioned that we are questioning is 2 or 3 lawsuits that have appeared. I've been looking for 2 weeks. I can't find, I've been through state court, county court, and town court over at Greece. So what we're asking for is the board to ask for the transcripts to those lawsuits. What were the lawsuits about and by whom? Because I found one thing only, and that was a zoning board issue where permits were extended to 4 properties on Edgemere Drive that should not have been extended. So I would ask this board to get a copy of those transcripts before we use lawsuits at other towns as an excuse not to say no. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the board?
Hi, my name is Helen Elam, and I reside at 4879 Culver Road. And I'd like to address the short-term rental. Unfortunately, we didn't really get too much communication about your meetings, your prior meetings, so I don't really, and I've been looking on your website, I don't really see some concise meeting minutes. But I'm not totally against short-term rentals. However, I know the town has long-term rentals, and I am a landlord who has a long-term rental, and we have to register with the town. You have to pay a registration fee. I have no idea. Do you know how many short-term rentals there are in the town of Arundequoit? Can anybody answer me that? Because not just Airbnb, it's VRBO, it could be Facebook Marketplace. So how do you even know who's...
Yeah, the public comment is not a discussion period.
Okay, so that's just my question or comment. I'd like that addressed somehow. But you certainly do know if people are being honest about their long-term rentals that we have to abide by the town code and register and pay that fee. So I would imagine that short-term rentals have to do that, or maybe even a higher rate because of the turnover. Because we have probably on our street 5 short-term rentals, and we do not know who these people are coming and going. Just today I saw this little girl running around, and she was friendly, everything is nice, but I'm like, well, who is she? You know, we'd just like to know who our neighbors are. This is, as that first community presentation, that's really important, that we know who our neighbors are. And when we have this turnover and we don't know who these people are, do they know the rules? What are the rules at these short-term rentals, are there any rules? We don't know, and I think it's only fair as a community, in our community, that we know who these people are coming and going, and then what if they have big parties and all the parking, and they're taking that time up, and from our peace and tranquility, because, of course, Arundequoit is a great town. I've been living here for 25 years, and we love it, but summertime, everybody wants to come here, and again, the short-term rentals are a hot commodity, and I think, the other thing is, are they paying income tax on these properties? I don't know. So that's just my opinion. Please have regulations if you consider. Also, one other comment, I heard that they were considering not having companies like LLCs owning and running short-term rentals, and I hope you decide against having LLCs and business people buying these and running these short-term rentals. It should just be the homeowner, not someone like out of town from New Jersey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, I'm Rachel Gordon, and my sister and I own a property at 525 Seneca Road. Wanted to talk about the short-term rentals.
Can you please state your address, not where the property is located?
I don't know that that's relevant or important.
It's actually code.
140 Superior Road.
Thank you.
Okay. So we, as I mentioned at the last meeting, bought the property after our father passed away because there's 4 siblings altogether. We all have children. The family keeps growing. Everyone used to stay with him. And just as an example, now we're going to Gloucester, Massachusetts next month to visit my brother. And we need, where our hotel rooms used to be $140 a night, 20 years later, it's $600 a night to stay at the same hotel we always stayed at. And kids are bigger, we need more space, we need more rooms. So we're clamoring to find a home to rent so that we can all be in the same place under the same roof. We get together 2 or 3 times a year. Families like to do this. That is our reason for having our short-term rental, was for our own family. Yes, we do pay our taxes of $8,000 a year. I come here 3 or 4 times a year and bring our check directly to them. I just had a guest check out and we got another 5-star review. We have absolutely no problem. We encourage. I've heard about the properties long before we bought ours on Rock Beach Road and Edgemere Drive.
Can you address the chair, please?
Sorry?
Can you only
I
address
would
the chair?
actually blame or question the towns for not addressing those problems with these homeowners. It's just as if I live in a neighborhood and there's continuous parties in anybody's neighborhood, right? But we have rules. I had 3 gentlemen stay there this weekend whose friends were sailing. They would not have come to Rochester. I've never in my life seen so much garbage. They didn't cook one meal. Everything was takeout. So they spent hundreds of dollars here. We have rules. We have quiet hours. Everything is in place. I ask everyone for a photo ID, first and last names. You cannot have more than 4 cars in our parking lot. There's 4 bedrooms. There's 3 bedrooms. 4 cars we allowed because we knew they were coming from out of town. The list of rules goes on and on. Before anyone can make a reservation, they send an inquiry, and I say, please read our house rules. We have a camera on the outside. I called my sister, who was staying down the street at her property, and I said, I see someone smoking a cigarette. Can you go drive by and tell them there's no smoking on the property? It says it in our house rules. She took a drive by and she said, so these are, and I understand that there is already a committee that was formed of 2 people that are for short-term rentals and 2 people that are against short-term rentals. I'm wondering how that came about, who decided who would sit on this committee, where you're getting your input from. If it's just from these meetings, then we'll keep coming and we'll offer input and examples. But it's very easy to put regulations in place, and when someone's not abiding by them, then it's just as if anybody else who is disturbing their neighborhood.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
No one else like to address the board? we'll close the public input period. Public input period is now closed. We'll now move on to the financial report.
Thank you. The 2025 financial results for the town as of May 31st, 2025. The total expenses, actual as well as encumbered, are $20,034,000 or 46.8% of budget, which is slightly higher than the 41.7% of the year that has elapsed. The breakdown is actual expenses, $16,968,000, and encumbered expenses, $3,066,000. Encumbrances are established for commodities, service, and supplies that will be needed throughout the year. The general fund expenses of $12,630,000 represent 45.7% of budget. The breakdown is actual expenditures, $11,358,000 or 41%, and encumbrances, $1,271,000 or 4.6%. Embedded in the general fund encumbrances are attorney fees and contracted expenses throughout the town, including the EMS services. In aggregate, the expenses on the highway funds are $3,897,000 or 65.1% of budget. Actual expenditures are 38% or $2,276,000 and include $142,000 for fuel, $250,000 for surface treatment, and $143,000 for vehicle and equipment parts, tires, and maintenance supplies. Encumbrances account for 27.1% or $1,622,000. Within the highway encumbrances include $377,000 for paving, materials and supplies, and oil and stoning materials, $218,000 for fuel, and $75,000 for surface treatment. Expenditures on the library fund are $1,369,000 or 47% of budget. Included in the expenses is a serial bond payment of $491,000 for the library facility. The sewer fund expenses are 35.8% of budget, equating to $1,413,000, of which $1,281,000 represent actual expenditures and $131,000 are encumbrances. The expenses in the stormwater drainage total $243,000 or 24.7% of budget. Actual expenses are $207,000, while encumbrances account for $36,000. The general fund revenue received is $17,244,000 or 62.8% of budget. At the end of May, the town has received $13,011,000 of real estate tax, 100% of budget. Recreation program fee receipts of $506,000 represent 66% of budget. Sales tax revenue of $1,176,000 has been received for the first quarter. This is an increase of 12.3% over last year. Regarding the entire town, $29,959,000 or 70.3% of revenue and appropriated fund balance has been received to date. Approximately $19,366,000 of the amount received is real estate tax. At month end, the library has received $2,827,000 or 97.1% of its budgeted revenue. Consolidated highway receipts of $4,666,000 or 78% have been recorded. The sewer fund has received revenue of $3,816,000 or 96.5% of budget. And the stormwater drainage receipts of $973,000 have been received, representing 99% of budget. This concludes the financial report for May 2025.
Thank you very much, Madam Controller. May I have a motion to adopt the financial report? Motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Any corrections, comments, or questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The financial report is adopted. Madam Clerk, we have 2 sets of minutes to approve.
Approval of the May 12th, 2025 workshop town board meeting minutes.
We have a motion to approve.
Move.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments, or revisions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The minutes are approved. Madam Clerk.
Approval of May 20th, 2025 regular town board meeting minutes.
May I have a motion to approve?
Move it.
May I have a second? Any questions, comments, or revisions?
Second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, are we? Okay. Any questions, comments, or revisions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The minutes are approved. Madam Clerk, we have a few resolutions to approve. Can you read the first resolution?
Under appointments, item number 1, resolution authorizing the permanent appointment of a building inspector.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
Could I get an explanation?
Thank you. Zachary Reynolds was appointed provisionally as the building inspector last July. He has since taken the civil service exam and he scored number 1 on the list, and we would like to appoint him permanently now.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? I don't see Zach in the audience.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Zach.
Congratulations.
Seeing no more questions or comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 2, authorizing the appointment of a motor equipment operator.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, due to a vacancy in the Department of Public Works, we posted for the position of motor equipment operator. We had several candidates apply, many internal, and the department conducted interviews and would like to promote Michael Baldo to this position.
Any questions or comments?
Good luck.
Congratulations, Michael.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Yep.
We're
Excellent.
thrilled for you.
Would you like to say anything? Congratulations again. Well done.
Here, I'll say it for him.
Okay.
Mike has been with the department for almost 10 years. He's a real asset within the department. He has many skill sets, and so he's very well poised to take this promotion within the department as MEO.
Congratulations again.
Yes. Well
Thank
done.
you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 3, authorizing the supervisor to renew Irondequoit's intermunicipal agreement for the Irondequoit Bay Management Project Coordination Program.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
May I have an explanation?
Yes, this resolution affirms our commitment to the Irondequoit Bay Management Program Committee. Monroe County is in the process of extending the program, which manages Irondequoit Bay cooperatively between Monroe County and the town of Irondequoit, Penfield, and Webster. This would extend the agreement until 2035. The county intends to sign the agreement by October and needs each town to approve by then.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I think they pulled that.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you fill me in just a little bit more about the makeup of the committee, and if we're renewing this, have we been sitting at the table? Do we have a representative from Irondequoit?
Yes, the regular representative is myself and Bill Lang,
Okay.
and we have done several events between Penfield, Webster, and Irondequoit, and Madam Secretary can fill in the rest.
They meet monthly.
Okay.
I believe it's the fourth Thursday of the month. I believe Aaron McGee has sat in on it. I have sat in on it. Bill Lang sits in on it right now as director of our department. They do have minutes and agendas
Okay.
that can get the rest of the board added on if they so choose.
Great. Just more for my point of information. I appreciate that.
Is there a mission statement for it? I'm just curious.
There is, and I think it's in, Madam Commissioner, can you fill the part in?
Sure, this is a collaboration for numerous things. The primary, I would say, is to each municipality shares new construction and projects that are happening along the waterfront, so that there's a cohesive review with the Irondequoit Bay being a impaired water body and numerous things That's why Monroe County is also at the table. It's also a mechanism for shared information, like when the high water events were happening, there was there was coordination. The marina owners and property business owners around the bay were invited to share experiences and see what kind of needs they had at that time. So I would say as things arise, there's also Monroe County has a monitoring program where they go out and they do water quality testing within the bay, and periodically those results would be shared with the group also. So it's a very collaborative group.
And the DEC is also involved.
Yeah, yes, the DEC is also at the table because they're showing their progress and permits and such that are issued along the waterfront.
Perfect. Again, it was just
Yeah, thank you.
for my information. I appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 4, supporting the submission of a smart growth planning grant application by the town of Arundecoit.
Motion to adopt.
Move it.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Sure. This resolution is relative to our Smart Growth Planning Grant application that was approved by the town board. This resolution is a requirement by New York State of the application process, showing the town board's support for moving forward.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 5, supporting the submission of a 2025 New York Main Street Technical Assistance Grant application.
Motion to adopt.
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Sure. This resolution is relative to our New York Main Street Technical Assistance Grant that was approved by the town board. This resolution is a requirement by the New York State of the application process, showing the town board's support for moving forward.
Any questions or comments?
And just a comment that, I am finding that I'm looking at these resolutions in a different eye, especially after our presentation earlier. Definitely around age-friendly. I mean, this is exactly what the presentation is about and what being an age-friendly community is about. So I'm really looking at these things in a different light.
And with that, the struggle for our community is that for all older communities, is that we're built for cars. So what the board has to consider, this board and future boards, is how do you convert something that was built for cars to a walkability or bikeability, and that's the struggle, and that's why we have Commissioner McGee working for us. If there are no more questions or comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 6, calling for a public hearing on the matter of rezoning 31 Dozier Lane, tax ID 092.17-1-85 from R1 Residential District to RRPDD Ridge Road Plan Development District.
Motion to,
I'll move it.
may I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Sure. This resolution is for the accepting, referring, and calling of a public hearing to be held on July 22nd, 2025 regarding the rezoning application submitted by Land Tech to rezone 31 Dozier Lane, which is located in the R1 Residential District, to the Ridge Road Plan Development District for the proposed development to construct 2 mini storage units and 2 flex office space buildings. The applicant is here should the board have any questions.
Any questions or comments?
No, I just think my comment is this is good use for the project, and I always consider who's doing the project as well, too. So I have a lot of confidence in Craig and John on this one here to make this project go forward. So we'll listen to the public hearing and see how it goes. But I think it's a good use for the land that's over there.
I concur.
And if I could, I believe the last time you spoke with us, there was a concern about a daycare center on the property.
Was
Not
the
this
other
one?
one.
Okay, thank you.
Just so the public knows, we did receive a complete presentation at the workshop on this, and so
I'm sure you'll be ready to do it at the public hearing again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 7, calling for a public hearing on the matter of rezoning 1776, 1750, 1732, 1720, and 1710 Hudson Avenue from R1 residential and M manufacturing districts to R5 residential district.
Motion to adopt?
Move it.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, this resolution is for the accepting, referring, and calling of a public hearing to be held on July 22nd, 2025, regarding the rezoning application submitted by Land Tech, acting as agent for the Cabot Group, to rezone these 5 parcels located on Hudson Avenue, which are currently zoned R1 residential and M manufacturing, to R5 residential for the proposed development of 2 45-unit apartment buildings with an exterior community and maintenance building. Again, the applicant is here. The agent is here, should you have any questions.
Any questions or comments?
No, another good project, I believe. Really good.
Is this the project that has the daycare center on it?
To the south, I believe, correct, John?
Good evening, John Sharabu, Land Tech, and you are correct that last meeting at the workshop you asked about the daycare. Through the Cabot Group, we did have a dialogue with the owner. They are going to keep the lease with the daycare as long as they have it, but they're focusing on the housing for Arundequoit people. As we know, and a large percentage of their prospective tenants are going to be seniors as well, so we're going to focus on that. They do not have any plans to continue daycare operations on the new facility, but again, they're going to honor the integrity of the lease that they currently have with the daycare.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is just a comment. Something that we have to consider is, I understand that we're an age-friendly town. What are we going to do to fill in for the daycare deserts that are starting to appear? So that's a huge planning concern that I have. I think this is a good project, but for young families, age-friendly concern, town for a lifetime, what are we doing to fill in? Because now this will be the second or third daycare facility that we've lost in the town without replacing it.
Well, down the road, if the owner of the facility, the daycare, he'll have to look, down the road.
Exactly, and I
Just
think.
he'll have to look for a different
Yeah.
location
Yeah.
and, take
And
it
these
from
are,
there.
these are businesses too.
These are businesses and, they're not in the business of daycare, so that gentleman will, hopefully if he finds a place. I don't know how many families are in there that use that daycare, but hopefully he'll be successful to find another location for it.
If there are no other comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 8, authorizing the purchase of security cameras for the police department and DPW and transfer of funds.
Motion to adopt.
Move it.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, this resolution would authorize the replacement of a camera at the front entrance of the police department. Additionally, it would include the installation of a license plate reader at the main gate of the Department of Public Works to improve security and functionality.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 9, authorizing the cemetery project and transfer of funds.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
May I have an explanation?
Thank you. This resolution would extend the current access control system and camera coverage we have at the town to the cemetery, integrating it into the same network.
Any questions or comments?
Good job.
Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 10, authorizing the purchase of laptops and transfer of funds.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
May I have an explanation?
Thank you. This resolution addresses the need to replace several laptops across the town that could not be upgraded to Windows 11. Additionally, this would be covering gaps caused by normal equipment attrition.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Authorizing the purchase of a server and transfer of funds.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
May I have an explanation?
Thank you. Since the recreation facility was built, the number of installed cameras has increased dramatically. The existing system can no longer handle this expanded workload. This resolution would fund a new server to meet the increased demands and storage needed for the recreation center.
Perfect.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 12, authorizing the attendance of criminal investigations using cellular technologies, basic 40-hour cellular investigations course.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, this is for my last investigator to attend the 40-hour course in cellular investigations. It's being hosted by the Rochester Police Department. Major crimes, obviously, with the way investigations are all going through electronics, it's a well-needed course.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? And thanks again, Chief, for all the training that you've brought to our guys. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Authorizing attendance to K-9 Building Search Tactics Workshop.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
May I have an explanation?
Yes, this is for one of our canine teams, Officer Cole and his dog Ollie, to go. Monroe County Sheriff's Department is bringing in outside trainers. It's good to obviously get a good look at different training techniques and what else is out there other than what we do regionally here. And it's a good chance for the team to look and see if they can bring anything new back to the town.
Great.
Any questions or comments?
If I could, Chief, what's the duration of the training?
It's a one-week course.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 14, authorizing stop signs on Seneca Road.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, this was for installation of stop signs at Seneca Road at the intersections of Woodland Street and Rudman Road in all directions. It's obviously with the amount of speeding complaints that have come through the town for Seneca Ave being a main thoroughfare or cut through from 590, the extension 590 over to Culver Road, especially at high traffic times. It's a way to kind of alleviate some of the speeding problems.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I do have a question about notifying. Is there anything that's done about notifying neighbors so that it doesn't come as a surprise? Can we roll that out on social media?
Yep. Yeah, we could absolutely do that when they're up there, and
Perfect.
we could also. I think the sign shop would be able to put. I think there's little things that on there that they say
New. Yeah.
So we could actually put that there to people.
Because I can remember when they went in on Pine Grove at List, what a surprise that was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything we can do.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 15, authorizing acceptance of New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services grant in the amount of up to $34,000 for the years 2024 to 2027.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
May I have an explanation?
Yes, this is for acceptance of the Stone Garden grant monies. The federal government, the way that they do their fiscal year grant awards is a little confusing at times. So that's why there's some that's a little bit backdated. So what this is going to cover is when we're doing our Stone Garden grant details, it will cover our salaries, benefits, but the majority of this one here is actually for equipment. We're going to be using those to actually actually replace one license plate reader and put an additional license plate reader on our vehicles for the cars.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 16, authorizing the purchase of one 2022 Dodge Charger Police Interceptor to be used by the Arundecoyt Police Department.
Motion to adopt?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, this is to replace a 2020 Dodge Charger that was totaled. It's a police package vehicle, and obviously not able to get any more gas-powered Dodge Chargers. It would be a one-to-one conversion, so we're getting a year younger vehicle with almost 40,000 miles less. So we'll actually replace that vehicle, and will be a seamless transition. We'll hopefully get at least another 2 to 3 years out of it.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 17, authorizing the lease of town property.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
Yes, this is for the extension of the lease with the Border Patrol for the lot on Pattonwood Drive across from their facility. So this is a one-year lease with 5 renewals afterwards, so a 6-year total.
Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 18, authorizing the supervisor to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with Seabreeze Fire District.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
May I have an explanation?
Yes, this is the renewal for the intermunicipal agreement we have with the Seabreeze Fire District. This is where we can do work for them on their site or their equipment, and they would reimburse us for the time and materials spent in doing that work.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 19, authorizing the purchase of an emergency valve replacement for Somerville Pump Station.
Motion to adopt?
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
May I have an explanation?
Yes, thank you. This is for replacing the check valves on the pumps at the sanitary sewer pump station down at Somerville. This was a emergency request to make sure that the pumps continue to function properly.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 20, authorizing the town clerk as marriage officer.
Motion to adopt?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
So this would authorize myself to be able to perform marriages. It's geared towards Penfield also does that. We've had a lot of requests for couples that want to get married and don't necessarily want a religious ceremony, but they want to get married, so they would file their application and I would be able to perform the ceremony.
So who does it now? The judges, right?
No,
No?
right now, there's no one that's designated in the town to perform marriages. They would have to go seek someone else outside of the town.
So our judges can't marry anyone?
I don't know if they can't, I just know that
Oh,
that's
just
not somewhere
wondering.
we
Yeah, so you'll be doing it if they come in. Now, the other question I have, it says after hours, right? I mean, you get a lot of people want to do it after hours on weekends, you know?
So the process is they come in, they fill out their application, they have to wait at least 24 hours to be married after that.
Okay,
So at that point in time, I would schedule an after hours.
right. After hours, or if they can come between the hours that you're here, right?
The resolution is written to be after hours.
After hours. Okay.
And, Mr. Attorney, the judges can marry by appointment of their judgeship, is that correct?
That may be true, but I don't know that for sure. I know that a lot of judges do that, but I don't know. I always assumed that they could, but I don't know the statutory reference.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk.
Resolution approving special event license for the Arundecoit Little League End of the Year Celebration.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have an explanation?
This is their annual end of the year event that's held at the baseball fields behind Town Hall. All approvals are in.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk.
Item number 22, approving applications for special event on Kings Gate North.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
May I have an explanation?
For this location, there was a block party application, a sound amplifying application, and a special events application. We do have all approvals in. There, as stated during public input, there are some concerns from the neighbors.
I'm going to start the comments off by asking Chief, you went down to meet with the neighbors?
I actually went down and met with the organizer himself. I think this has grown legs to the past the point of where it's going to be a containable party. I expressed to him what of our concerns were. I see a lot of times that, especially I don't want to say around town, we get through the Crime Analysis Center, we get the weekend parties updates, and we see these house parties that are promoted by a single promoter. And it turns out that they charge money at the door, and just like we have our Airbnbs, the short-term rentals, they rent a house for 1 or 2 nights, and it turns into mass chaos. This gentleman has a recording studio in his basement. I sent an email to everybody showing what looks like a legitimate business that he's running out of his basement. But the more I talked to him, I didn't know if I'm actually just being told what I want to hear. So I do have concerns, especially with being so close to the town over here with parking, and I don't think that he understood that he couldn't block off the street either. So I think that this was going to grow legs. So I do have some concerns after I've, seen that it started out as just a block party and now turned into a full-blown event where he has $1 million worth of insurance. So I think we really need to look at this holistically and with a very concerning eye.
Mr. Attorney?
So my recollection is that there was also some concern that maybe he was also applying for the ability to have fireworks, which he would not be able to do without.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yes, that was. I also asked him. I understand you're going to do fireworks too, and he said, "No, I don't know where you got that."
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
I did have him email me something that says, he stated that there would not be fireworks.
I have a question. If we deny this and the party goes forward, how do we handle that kind of thing?
Basically, it would be regular, the regular way we'd handle any other loud annoyance parties or anything else. 911 calls come in for unruly people with the loud music going, with parking problems, anything else, whatever we need to do to go down there and actually do some sort of enforcement. My problem is it's the 4th of July, and our forces are stretched thin as it is. And my biggest concern is getting emergency vehicles down through there, especially if there was an ambulance or a fire truck that needed to get through there. That is a easy way to get through from Portland to Kings Highway, and obviously with Titus Avenue being blocked off, a lot of people use these side streets to go back and forth over there. So that is one of my main concerns.
Chief, I'm sure you explained your concerns to this individual. How did he receive them from you?
I think he understood, but again, he's trying to host it in conjunction with a graduation party with his sister who lives right across the street. So inevitably, there's going to be people crossing back and forth in the street, hanging out in the street. And he was trying to say he was being considerate with the neighbors by bringing in 2 porta potties, so nobody, pees in the bushes and does all the rest of that stuff. But I mean, let them use your house. That's what normal people do for a house party.
Right, I mean, I gotta say, look at this petition. There's quite a few people that signed this petition
Correct.
that we got served. So I have a concern also.
28
Yeah,
people.
so, yeah.
Like I said, I mean, nobody's opposed to having a graduation party or
Correct.
having anything else.
It's the timing of it, I
It's the
think.
timing of it, and like I said, he almost looked like, from what I gather, that he was trying to use the event as a promotion for his nephew's new music, and he was going to have it right on the front porch. That's where the application for the sound reproduction device was for. So having other neighbors say that there was videos recorded like last year or the year before, with now having a DJ and everybody else playing like on the front porch of the house, it just, like you said, it has potential for it to just grow beyond his control. I know what his idea is, but he doesn't enforce or he won't have the ability to turn people away. Correct.
Correct.
I've seen this before, pretty typical.
That's what I was gonna
you know,
ask Pete,
Party,
to see
word of
your-
mouth, things start out as
Sure,
well
yeah.
intentioned. and-
Yes.
I mean, but the intention here is to have a party with a capacity that necessitates 2 porta potties, which is a fairly large event, in my opinion, on a day that has already just consumed a lot of special event police forces and public safety concerns, and giving them the benefit of the doubt that this may have been well intentioned. And I do think things that happen year after year tend to grow. And it's probably been successful in the past, and this is taking it to the next level, perhaps. And we should be, thoughtful about that.
I guess what I'm struggling with is that I can imagine at this point, 2 weeks out, he's going to hold a party no matter what.
I think so too.
So I am not suggesting that we go ahead and approve this, but I am struggling with, he's going to have the party anyway. So,
Well, there's ordinary rules and regulations if
Yeah.
that's contained within their own property. I mean, we can question the logic behind having it on that day and time.
Right.
But
I mean, there's gonna be a lot of graduation parties going around the town, you know what I mean? But
Correct.
this is a little extreme, I think, and I think the residents on the street
100%,
spoke.
John.
That's what I gotta hear. They got
Concern.
concerns, and they live there.
Yep.
They've seen what's going on in this area for quite some time, so I have to respect, the neighbors and, what they want and what they don't
Yeah,
want.
please-
If it's
to
just-
your point, though,
if there's
Ann,
gonna be a graduation party, yeah, go ahead, have a
just
graduation
please know,
party.
I'm sorry, Jen, I didn't mean to
no,
cut you
but
off. I just, please know, I'm not suggesting,
Oh, no, right.
I'm
yeah.
I'm
I mean,
just,
I think
I'm
it sends
concerned.
if we choose to vote no, it sends a clear message that this needs to be contained
Yes.
and more
Respectful of your
refined
neighbors, number
and
one.
Respectful, but if that's what we choose to do.
I have 2 questions. Madam Clerk, he applied for 3.
So originally, it was a block party, asking for the street to be blocked off, and he was having, he wanted the sound amplifying because it would be loud. Then a resident came in with that flyer that's in your packet, which led me to believe that it was more of an event than it was a block party. Block parties, from my definition, are your neighbors all get together, you pull out your chairs on the lawn, and the kids run up and down the street. But this seemed like it was a little bit more based on food truck and live music. So that's why I had him fill out the special events application. So yes, there were 3 applications. He's paid $25 for the sound amplifying, $25 for the block party, And don't quote me, I think it's 150 for the sound, or for the special event.
Mr. Attorney, could we, and I don't know the answer to this, can we divide this into three separate votes and deny part of this and approve other parts?
I don't see why you couldn't, so you'd have to amend your motion to break it down into three parts, and do three separate motions in lieu of the single motion.
It's not going to change the way I'm voting,
Okay.
personally.
Right, so one single vote?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I just wanted to say kudos to our town clerk for escalating this. So thank you for what you have done.
And for recognizing
Recognizing
potential
it.
here, thank you. Yes.
I just want to say one more thing, is I think if you guys grant this, I would hate to think that then he figures that he has carte blanche to do whatever he wants.
Right.
If we deny it, he can still have a regular party as long as it just stays controlled. That's kind of just the way I look at it.
I mean, and I just, my personal opinion, sound amplifying permit in a neighborhood, I don't know if that's ever something I think that's, I mean, you gotta, I don't know.
So we have had people that
Yes.
like have weddings, and they have speakers outside and outside weddings that have come in for sound amplifying.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not unheard of. We get those for even block parties.
Right.
They'll actually do it just to make sure that they're covered.
Okay,
It's
there's-
just hard because it's on top of
Yeah, the timing here
the
is just,
fourth, so.
questionable. That particular weekend,
And it's on the 4th.
Yeah, yes,
Right.
well, yes, I was
Yeah,
like,
not even
really?
an adjacent day.
Yeah,
It's
when we've
the
got
day.
everything going on here, it's like, wow. Yeah. Yep.
If there are no more comments, all in favor say aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Hey,
The resolution did not pass. The next workshop meeting is July 14th at 2025 at 4 p.m. The regular town board meeting is July 22nd at 2025 at 7 p.m. This concludes the 17th regular town board meeting.
I'm sorry, could I just ask a question? Backtracking, and I'm sorry, I was a little taken aback, but this is a question for our clerk. May we have a copy of the documents that were read into the record at the beginning of the meeting, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The meeting is adjourned.